Hi, my name is the Rev'd Jeanne Kaliszewski. I'm an Episcopal priest in the Diocese of Oregon. I'm the rector of St. John the Evangelist in Milwaukee, Oregon. I'm a mom of 3 kids, a wife, a knitter, and someone who loves to read and get lost in libraries. This theme of fear that we have for this Advent is one that is very personal for me. As early as I can remember as a kid, and getting home and lying in bed and being terrified of looking out the window because I was afraid I, like some of the characters in the movie, would be chosen to see these aliens, these UFOs, these invaders coming. And the idea of that filled me with dread. I think the fear was placed in this idea of I would be alone, that no one would be able to save me, that I would have some sort of sense of knowledge or some encounter, literally a close encounter, that I would have to deal with on my own. Through much of my young life, I fought this fear by trying to gain control of the circumstances of my life. Most often that showed up in trying to control my very body. I struggled with an eating disorder as a young person, in part, I think, because my response to being afraid of the sort of vagaries of life resulted in me trying to control the only thing that I felt like I could control, what I put into my body, the size of my body. As I got older and I began to sort of live my life, some of that fear faded into the distance. But I think about that a lot of the people in the Bible experience when they encounter God. And I'm not saying that the aliens are a stand-in for God, but I do think there was something in that early experience that honestly I yearn to get back to, especially as I think about the stories that we read during Advent. The terror of the shepherds, the fear that Mary must have felt as she encountered the angel. All this reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Annie Dillard in her book, Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, where she writes, "On the whole, I do not find Christians outside of the catacombs sufficiently sensible of conditions. Does anyone have the foggiest idea what sort of power we so blithely invoke? Or, as I suspect, does no one believe a word of it? The churches are children playing on the floor with their chemistry sets, mixing up a batch of TNT to kill a Sunday morning. It is madness to wear ladies' straw hats and velvet hats to church. We should all be wearing crash helmets. Ushers should issue life preservers and signal flares. They should lash us to our pews. For the sleeping God may awake someday and take offense, or the waking God may draw us out where we can never return." So this Advent, I seek to go back to that little girl who was afraid in her bed, to search out the waking God who will pull me farther out than I can return from, to allow myself to be changed, to allow myself to be afraid, and to give up the illusion of control that I have had through much of my life, and trust that God is creating something new in me and creating something new in the world. Have a blessed Advent. Thank you.
This has been a production of Trinity Episcopal Cathedral in Portland, Oregon. Music for this podcast was performed by James Walton. For more information about Trinity and our community, go to www.trinity-episcopal.org.